Now, it's less than 100 days since PM Sunak, in his first major speech since his establishment coup against Liz Truss, made this one of his 5 cast-iron pledges.
We will pass new laws to stop small boats, making sure that if you come to this country illegally, you are detained and swiftly removed.
But Fishy Rishi may have just tossed that promise aside, today refusing to guarantee that he would stop the boats by the next election.
You were pledged to stop the boats, not reduce the number, not bring the number down, actually to stopping them. Will you have done that by the time of the next election?
Look, I've always also said that this is not something that is, easy. It is a complicated problem where there's no single simple solution that will fix it. And I've also said it won't happen overnight. And I've been very clear about that. But people should know that it is hugely important to me, it's hugely important to the country, and we need to fix the system as a matter of fairness more than anything else.
Sunak's rollback on what I believe is one of the most crucial issues facing Britain today will be a punch in the guts for dedicated Conservatives who have fought tirelessly to secure the sovereignty of our borders and risks dividing the party. As if more proof of the scale of the crisis were needed, yesterday it was revealed a staggering 1,100 migrants crossed the Channel in the last week alone, putting the total at 4,850 so far this year. And remember, it's been cold up until now. So, Allison Pearson, look, I actually really wanted to believe that Sunak was serious about this pledge, and I wanted to give him an opportunity to deliver it. But this wasn't fighting talk today. It was weak waffling.
It's just very hard to understand what I'm looking forward to hearing what Shaun's explanation for this kamikaze political act. We've only got a couple of weeks to go to the May elections, and that tearing sound you can hear, that's all the Conservative canvassers tearing up the leaflets, putting them in the bin and pouring themselves a large drink. Because if he wanted to sink, the Conservative prospects for the May local elections are dreadful, and now they're kind of non-existent. So what's happening, Dan, is there are 2 forces going on in the government. We've got Suella Braverman. She gave a great interview to Liam Halligan on GB News, and she basically said she made a veiled threat against Sunak, didn't she? She wants coming out of the ECHR, that's the European Convention on Human Rights, to be left on the table. We had Liz Truss, no longer our Prime Minister, sadly, saying today in Washington, Liz said, we either need to leave the ECHR or disregard them altogether. That is the kind of fighting talk you have to have. To have Rishi Sunak wringing his hands and saying, it's complicated. It's not very complicated. Do you want thousands of undocumented migrants, some from Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan...
And terrorists, by the way.
Could easily be terrorists, coming here, thousands and thousands in hotels. It's quite possible there could be 250,000 of these undocumented migrants in the UK by the 2024 general election. Guaranteed failure. Why didn't he lie, Shaun? Why didn't he just say...
Well, Shaun, you're our top Tory on the panel. OK, Alison's laid down the gauntlet now.
So, firstly, it's not my job to defend the PM unless he wants to give me a job. No, look, the thing is here, reality bites, isn't it? So when he was brand new, he made all his pledges, and now he's had civil servants whisper in his ear, this is going to be tough. And in his defence, he's tried to tell the truth. He's tried to lay it out. But what he's got to understand, he has an election to fight today because of the locals coming up, and in the future, the general election. So he should have continued with that fight and talk for 2 important reasons. Yes, there's the politics of it, but it's also the message it sends to the civil servants involved to say, actually, I need you to pull your finger out as well. I'm the Prime Minister, this is what I'm asking you to do. And what Rishi needs to realise, this is a big issue. If you're down here in the southeast of London, in the southeast of the country, certainly London, it might not be as big an issue as it is on the coast. If he can answer this question, it will be an enormous step towards winning a general election, because I tell you something now, Keir Starmer absolutely doesn't have an answer to this question.
But what you're saying is that you'd prefer him to lie, because the only way... It's an impossible task. You cannot stop these boats.
Not true.
You cannot.
Yes,
particularly when, as a Conservative government, have closed down safe and legal routes, which is obviously going to increase the number of illegal small boat crossings.
None of what you're saying is true. So let's look at the history. The Australians stopped it. It's impossible to stop it.
But the Australians were not limited by ECHR.
Hold on. I'm answering a simple question. I'm asking a simple question. Is it possible? Yes, it is.
It's not possible.
Rishi Sunak's correct.
With
it's hard.
Humane response.
Well,
the Australian system was incredibly inhuman.
No,
so
Amy,
yes, we could
Amy,
do that.
You're making such a mistake, and this is what all you people on the hard left do, and it infuriates me. It was the most humane response, because guess what?
Absolutely
it smashed
not.
the people smuggling gangs. Do you not understand
No,
that?
Dan.
Smashed their business model. It doesn't happen. No boats arrive in Australia now at all. Those people are being saved.
Putting people in detention centres does not solve the problem. That's inhumane. What you to smash the people smuggling models, you give people the opportunity to apply for resettlement schemes. Currently, resettlement schemes do not exist, which is obviously fueling people smuggling.